Hi, Craig Ridley here from youronlinebusinesscoach.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to create a high performance business. And the best way that I think that I can describe my model for a high performance business is to look at the evolution of any old business, how it starts from quite a small size and then goes through its growth phase to one that becomes highly successful. And the starting point of all businesses is they have these three core common elements or basic elements to the business model, and that is that there are products and services that are being sold, that there is a marketing and sales plan on how to sell those particular products, and there's some sort of thought about financing in that, particularly in respect to our pricing structures, how we might make a profit. If we're lucky, there might be some budgets in place and some forward planning as to perhaps how we might accommodate some growth as it goes forward. But certainly at its heart, every business has those three core elements of something to sell, a way to sell it, and hopefully a way to be able to convert those sales into profit. But as a business grows, things become a little bit more complicated, and as you're trying to get some more market share through that growth phase, it becomes important that you start to work on some form of strategic planning. You need to develop a strategy to be able to grow the business and to refine your products and services mix to perhaps develop a better and more effective sales and marketing plan, and certainly become much more conscious of what it takes in a financial sense to make a profit out of your business. So we're starting to grow, and we start to have a look at those competitive strategies and make sure that our business model is one that continues to win, and if we're not winning, it gets refined so that we can start moving it forward. Eventually the business gets to a size where it outgrows the original people, which quite often is just the business owners working the business by themselves, and we have to start employing people. What's important is to have an effective business and a high performance business, our people must also be effective. So as we're starting to add people into the structure, it's very important that we make sure we're recruiting the right type of people, and that we're training them to give them the skills that we need, and we continue to develop those skills in line with the changing needs of the business as it grows. Now, as more and more people come into the business, it's so important that the business now develops some form of structure, some organisational structure around how those people go about their job. So we're starting to get a bit of integration now between the products and the marketing plans and the finance, and how the people have various roles and responsibilities within those within the business model on how they're going to push the business forward and make sure that it's successful. Our strategies continue to be refined along the way, but we're now operating within a structure that needs to operate without so much day-to-day control of the business owner. We need to start releasing responsibility to other people, and that's something that a lot of small business owners find very, very hard, to be able to release their baby into the world and into the care of some other people. But if we're trying to grow a business that is larger than just you as the business owner, it is absolutely vital that we get these structures in place so that our people can operate effectively and can drive business growth, whether we're there or not. As the business grows to a bigger and bigger size, what becomes absolutely vital at that point is that we really do start to systemize the processes that operate within the business. Now, I know that in a lot of cases small business just runs a million miles when we talk about systemizing processes, because the argument goes, as a small business, where you have your competitive advantage against your larger businesses, the more corporates, is that you are not set in your ways. You don't have the great systems. You are very nimble. You're very quick on your feet. You can change at a whim to capture a market advantage. But the problem is, as the business grows larger and larger, has more people in place and more strategies and more structures driving the business, it cannot do it effectively and profitably unless there are some very tight systems in place. So systems and processes are very, very important as a business goes through that growth cycle. The more people, the more systems, the more complexity that you have in your business structure and your business model, then the impact of culture becomes that much more important. And culture isn't necessarily, look, we have a no tie Friday, or we never dress up in suits. We're always dressed casually. That's not really culture to me. Culture is simply an understanding by all the people within the business that this is the way we do things around here, and it needs to be a culture of success and innovation. It needs to be a culture where people support themselves and operate in a team environment, rather than allowing one or two people simply to star, or worse still, a culture where all decisions have to be focused through the business owner, so that it's not a full team approach to the way you go about things. So culture is the way we go about things, and it's a social pressure on the people and on the structures to make sure that it's all focused towards the end that we're trying to create. And that end really is a vision. I've presented it here as the last point in the process, when in fact it really needs to be the first step in the process. The business owners, and all the business owners, all the stakeholders, need to have a common vision of what they're trying to achieve. I'm a very big fan of saying that you need to start the business as you expect to finish it. So if we're looking to build a business that we can franchise, or that we can take to an international stage, then if that's our vision, then the way we build the business with strategy and structure and our products and services will be a lot different than if our vision is basically, look, we just want to create some jobs for the family, and we want to have it as a family business over multiple generations, and we're quite happy to sit in one location. So vision is absolutely important, because it drives all the other decisions that are made within the business. So this is the framework that I have for what I call a high performance business. A structure that works in synergy with itself. On the right hand side, we see that there are 5 operational aspects to a business: that we have products and services that we sell, that we have a sales and marketing plan in place of how to effectively sell those products and services. We have systems in place and structures in place to make sure that our people are effective, and that we have the right people in our business. There's an element of systemization in the business, so that we can ensure that we have quality of product and consistency of quality of product as we operate the business. The financial side of things needs to be integrated all the way through, so that we're always aware of any changes to our profitability trends or changes to our balance sheet trends, so we know when the business is coming under pressure, and we can react to that in a fairly quick manner. To the left hand side of those, we then have the 4 strategic elements of a high performance business model. That we have a high performance culture within the business, that there are appropriate structures that give roles and responsibilities to the people and the processes within the business, that there are evolving strategies that can deliver the vision of the stakeholders, and when that vision is achieved, that all the stakeholders are happy that they've achieved what they need to achieve. So I found this graphical representation of a high-performance business model is one that always has made sense to me, and one that I aim to try and build into the businesses that I advise. And what will a high-performance business do for you? Well, firstly, it should deliver more profitability to you, and it should be growing profitability. So the profit you make tomorrow should be greater than the profit you're making today, which was greater than the profit you made yesterday. If we have improving profitability, and we have a structure that functions really well, and particularly one that functions with a management structure, so it doesn't really rely on yourself, your business will become more valuable. And there'll be certainly more exit options, in that there'll be a lot more people who will be willing to buy your business. If you think about it, if you had a choice of buying a business that you had to work 7 days a week in yourself to generate $300,000 profit every year, compared to one that operated under management that still produced $300,000 worth of profit, which one would you prefer to buy? Which one would your friends prefer to buy? And would you pay more for the business that required less of you to generate the same profit? Of course you would. So, a high performance business, the aim is to decrease its dependency on you. So it has structures and people in place that drive the business, not necessarily you. If you're creating more profit and you're using that profit to invest outside of the business, then clearly your personal wealth position will increase along the way. If your business is worth more on a sale as an exit option, then clearly your personal wealth will be increased as well. But over all of that, and the thing that I try and drive through with my clients is certainly that you should be able to achieve a better quality of life. Your business should not be all consuming. You should be able, the business needs to be able to operate at some level without you being there, so you can take the time off, and that you can also take the time to be much more strategic in your thinking. So the aim is to create a high performance business, but basically it's a business that has structures in place that will drive it without you being there day in, day out. So what should you look to do now? You really do need to look at your current business model and line it up against this high performance business model that I've just presented in this video. Understand where your gaps are, understand perhaps where your challenges are, and put some plans in place to try and perhaps improve on some of those areas. Clearly, I'd also recommend to you that you join our free online business coaching program, where we offer a structured step-by-step help system to implement improvements into your business model to help you build a high performance business model. And you can access that free online business coaching program if you visit www.youronlinebusinesscoach.com. I'd love to see you there. Goodbye.